In this video, we're going to talk about balancing half moon pose. Where does that balance come from? I love this conversation and I love this particular pose because I hated this pose for a really long time. And when I understood this pose, I understood a tremendous amount about anatomy. I understood how to work with a lot of different yoga poses because the action that makes half moon shows up in tons of different poses, and let's talk about it. So first things first, if you're like, the fuck is half moon? Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, is this little ditty, right? You're standing on one foot, you're opening your chest to the side, your back leg is about in line with your hip. And the biggest thing I see people challenged with here is falling over. Simply not being able to hold the balance, or not being able to get this top hip nice and stacked, or having the bottom foot pointing inwards, which makes it difficult to balance. So let's talk first of all about the anatomical actions in this pose. This pose has the top leg in neutral position. And what I mean by that is, imagine you're starting from Tadasana. In order to do half moon, what would I need to do? I would need to turn my standing leg out. I would need to hinge forward and just lift my other leg. You see that the top half of my body, this is Tadasana. I haven't changed anything, right? I turned the bottom foot out. Check out this half of my body. I've just tipped it over, but it is still in Tadasana. So the top half of the body is neutral. Tadasana position, mountain pose. The bottom leg is the one that does the work. And this tends to be misunderstood. People think the top leg is externally rotating. It's not. The top leg is totally neutral. The actual work comes from the bottom leg. So if we look at the work in the bottom leg, we have external rotation. If your feet are starting forward, externally rotating the leg is from the hip joint, taking the foot out. Then we are balancing on that externally rotated leg. Secretly, it's triangle pose with your leg in the air. And the biggest issue with the external rotation is strength in the gluteus medius and the external rotators and hip stabilizers. Many of us are missing some strength there. When and if you try to do half moon and your foot points inwards, there is nothing wrong with that. You can totally do half moon with your foot pointing in. It's just going to be harder to balance. But all that means is you are not yet engaging the outer hip muscles to pull this foot straight. The straightening of the foot has nothing to do with the foot. It has to do with the engagement of the outer hip muscles. Here's a drill that you can do that's really going to help you feel this. You're going to bring 2 blocks underneath your face and figure out which foot you're going to stand on, and then take the other leg up behind you. You can even rest it on the wall. See, I have my wall and I'm putting my foot on the wall so that I don't have to deal with it so much. Then bend your standing leg quite a bit. This is technically like warrior 3, right? Now, don't think about the top hip. Leave the top hip exactly as it is. Hug your bottom hip underneath you and use that to stack the top hip. And then bring it back down. Bend the knee, squeeze the outer hips, hug the outer hip, in and under, in and under, in and under, in and under, until the top hip stacks. And then bring it back. Notice at what point along that journey your bottom foot wants to go, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, and turn it in. Find that. That's your edge, right? The spot where you're like, I'm trying, and then I kind of get stuck. That's your edge. Work your half moon right there. And over time, you're going to find more strength develops in this outer hip to help you stack. I will show it to you from a different angle just so you can see. I start in warrior 3. Okay? Bend the standing knee. That bend is helpful to give you access to all the muscles of your leg. If you lock out the joint, you lose a little bit of power and muscle activity. Yeah, so bend into the knee, hug the outer hip, in and under, in and under, in and under, in and under. Ooh, that's your half moon. And then bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Close it down. Again, hug the outer hip in, hug it under, 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 and notice how my top hip rotates, but I'm not actively rotating my top hip. I am leaving it completely neutral, and it is the action of the bottom leg and bottom hip that is rotating me open. When you understand that it's the bottom hip that's hugging in and essentially externally rotating in the hip socket, and the rest of the pelvis just follows along, that alone may completely change your approach to the pose. So you might find that just approaching the pose with this level of concentration and detail makes it so your foot doesn't turn in. You might also find that it's a lot easier to balance it. The last thing I'll leave you with here, again, there's a lot more that I can say about this pose and every pose. If you're into this nerdy, geeky breaking down of poses, check out the link in the description below. My no bullshit yoga pose library goes deep into over 90 yoga poses. This is my favorite thing in the world to do, and I'd love to have you with me for that. The other thing I will say is do it against the wall. If you want to feel what half moon feels like without falling over, the wall is your friend. So stand by the wall and stick your outer hip against the wall. Your foot will not be directly against the wall. It's going to be a few inches away. Bring a block. Ain't no shame in the block game. Blocks just bring the floor up to meet you and make everything lovely. Keep your toes forward. Bend the standing leg. Take the other leg back. And then again, use your bottom hip, hug it in, hug it in, hug it in, hug it in until your top butt cheek, or not the top butt cheek, until your top heel reaches the wall. Why not the top butt cheek? Because then we're cranking the top hip open. If you haven't seen my triangle pose video yet, go check that one out. I talk about why cranking the top hip open is not necessary in that one. So let your heel touch the wall. Your butt cheek will be off the wall, the top butt cheek. Lower butt cheek on the wall. And then rotate your torso open and place both shoulder blades on the wall. And then if you can, look up, look at that. This gives you quote unquote full expression of half moon in a way that you can manage your balance, in a way that you can feel what's happening, in a way that you don't fall over, and that really allows you to work the action of that bottom hip. And then slowly come out the same way you came in. And I always recommend doing things on both sides because we have one good side and one gimpy side. That is true for every single human on the planet. And you might as well set yourself up for success and do it on both. If you want more of this, check out the link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time in the next video.